Like our thing with my wife and I would be, if I was doing a long project with Sting or somebody, on those projects, you're sometimes in some very nice places, like you're in Paris for like a week, say,
Yeah,
or you're in Rome, or you're, for enough days so you can put your loved one on an airplane,
and then they
and
can fly, and yeah,
they can be with you for a while and enjoy the better side of that touring life. We start moving from city to city sort of one night, that's another thing. That's not for the faint-hearted. You want to sort of just let them see those good, whereas comfortable times, because you start doing night after night, that's a whole other thing that, if you're not used to doing that physically, it's really
yeah,
hard for people. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, absolutely, man, absolutely. And then you guys did the Amnesty International with Bruce and Sting some years
Yeah,
later, right? In
that
'98.
was wild, man. What a project that was. Oh, that was crazy. It was big, and it was a lot of music. It was kind of like music camp for about, I think it was 6 weeks, that thing. We went around the world twice in 6 weeks, was the thing about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was born in Chile, in
Uh-huh.
in South America. So I know you Sting was. You guys went there, I think,
Oh yeah. We did a
all
lot
the
of stuff.
political issues and
Yeah.
crazy governments at the time, the '80s in South America and Africa too.
Yeah.
Sting.
Yeah.
I'm happy that Sting and Eric, of course, Peter Gabriel and Bruce
Uh-huh.
collaborated from that. Some musicians they don't
Mhm.
care what's
Yeah.
going on in the world, like with this crazy president that we have nowadays, man.
Oh man.
Oh, I
Um,
don't want to get into it,
no, no, no. Unbelievable what's happening.
but
But
I'm glad that yeah, Peter Gabriel and Sting and all got involved, that kind of stuff. And,
yeah.
that's
Well, those
that's a
guys,
beautiful thing.
they are sincerely uh, humanitarian in that way. They really care about the state of society and about the state of the world. And if they have an idea of how to help or bring people's attention to something, they've always been like that.
Yeah, man, I'm glad, man. And then after that, how you wound up with on the Eric Clapton, man, tour, man? You went from all the big names. Come on, man. How old were you at the time? Early
Uh,
30s? Or?
but Eric Clapton, I think it was like maybe late 30s.
Yeah,
Yeah, late 30s, somewhere in there. That came about because um, I did a lot of work with Zucchero at one point, and I'm sure you know
he's,
about.
he's from Italy, right? That correct? Yeah.
Yeah, uh-huh.
I, yeah, yeah,
So he's from Reggio Emilia, actually. But so I did a lot of stuff with him. I did a lot of records with Zucchero, and I did a lot of touring with him in Italy. And on one of these tours, Eric was there. There was a point where they both had the same manager, Eric Clapton and Zucchero, this guy named Roger Forrester. Okay. And Roger had arranged for Zucchero to be the opening act at the one of Eric's Albert Hall runs. Yeah,
yeah,
Eric was the Albert Hall for like a week or 2 weeks or whatever.
yeah.
So uh, we were on tour. I think we were in Sicily, somewhere down south, and Eric Clapton shows up backstage, and he sees the show, he sees me playing guitar, and he'd heard of me through other musicians. I'm sure he'd heard of me through other people, um, but he was very complimentary about the guitar playing. Zucchero had me playing some like bluesish kind of guitar on maybe two songs. So when we got to London, it ended up that we did the whole opening run. Okay, so I think it was the next year, I got a phone call from Roger Forrester asking me to do, Eric was going to do this tour with an orchestra, small orchestra, which he did, like a little small string section. But I couldn't do that project, but I'd already made a commitment to Seal.
Oh,
Right.
wow.
So I'm gonna say this was 98, maybe, when they had the tour would have been 98 that they wanted me to do. So I had to very politely decline because I was already sort of working with Seal, and he'd asked me to be his musical director. And he had planned a long tour, starting in the States first, and then stuff in Europe. So I didn't do that project. And then Seal's work didn't pan out. The amount of work that he wanted to do didn't work out. So I suddenly found myself without a long project. And I called up Eric's management just to see what was going on. And fortunately, they were getting ready to go out on tour again. And fortunately, it's very ironic. The keyboard person who they hired when I couldn't do the orchestra tour, he's also an actor in Los Angeles. And he had been offered a sitcom, like a TV series, and he didn't want to leave that kind of work to go do another tour in Europe. So fortunately, when I called, they were looking for someone. They didn't have their guy. So, and I left a message with his secretary. About 2 days later, I just happened to be in my bedroom, and they had one of those old answering machines where the voice would come on. And I just happened to be in the bedroom, and the voice comes on. It's Eric Clapton trying to reach me to see if I'd be interested in doing this tour. He goes, all right, I got your message, and I'm just trying to reach you. This is David. And I picked up the phone, and I was so shocked. It took me a second to say, I was like, oh, hi.
Sure.
and it was him. And he asked me on the phone, told me the situation. And I said, yeah, absolutely. I'd love to do the tour. So that's how that happened.
My God, man, look at you.
You know what I like about that is that there's a live album, a double live album of that, because that band was really kind of special to put that combination of people together. But there's a double live album of that called One More Car, One More Rider.
Let me write it down. I don't know if I know that one right. Were your parents still alive at the time? Remember?
98. Dad died in 96. No, I think they were both passed on. Let me think. My mom died in 96, 97. My dad's before. No, I think they both passed away by then. Yeah.
Well, if they have seen at the time, man, my son did something good, man. Look at the name of the list of people that you have played, man.
Yeah, no, they were very, very proud and very happy. Very happy.
For a kid that didn't finish high school, and look at you now, man. Yeah. Unbelievable, man. What about, and then how after that you began playing with Jeff Beck, right? So is it difficult in terms of to compare your experience with, and feel free to elaborate, with playing with Clapton, playing with Sting, playing with Peter Gabriel, Jeff Beck, different people, different personalities, different type of music, different style, different things that they go through. Is it difficult, or it's easy for you to adjust to things?
It's relatively easy for me to adjust. I don't find it difficult. What I can find difficult sometimes, depending on the project, some of the music can be challenging. So it's maybe difficult for you to just learn the music, wrap your head around the music and play it well. It depends on the music. Sometimes most of the project is not a problem, or there might be, one or two songs where you really have to get it together. But I don't find it in general a problem adjusting to the different personalities. Even people are people, kind of thing, and mostly everybody can get along. They can, but you can always sort of encounter someone in the course of a project that may have a problem with you, or you may have a problem with them about something. But in general, the stuff kind of flows, and then I can just enjoy the difference and not have that be a big problem.
Have you ever thought about writing a book about all your?
Yes, I mean you're wow. Yeah, it's in progress.
That's right. With all the experience with different people, different
like a memoir, sort of.
A memoir or so, right? Which of the, up to this moment, which of the musicians was the harder to adjust to the music that they want you to play, or learning the repertoire? I mean, you go into, obviously you do rehearsal for, I don't know, 2-3 weeks or something, but it was Jeff Beck music that it was harder, if you look back? Or?
A couple of songs on there, and Jeff were challenging for me. Yeah, But again, you have time. You have time to work it out. And I remember that the rehearsals for Jeff, we rehearsed in Australia, and the rehearsals were kind of challenging. And we probably didn't have as much time, ideally, as we would have liked. But once we got through the rehearsals, every show just went up and up and up. You know, every show was better than the previous one. You know, so that was enjoyable. You know, and there's some recordings of that tour around that I've heard.
Yeah, Jeff is one of the best guitarists playing in the world with all the big names.
You know, again, to get to play with someone who is one of the people who inspired me to play the instrument. You know, he's one of my.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And same thing with Eric. You know, I mean, he's one of the people who inspired me to play guitar were B.B. King, Jimi Hendrix, Eric Clapton, Jeff Beck. You know, that whole bunch of people. So to get to actually work with Eric was fantastic, and Jeff as well, you know. And I mean, Jack Bruce, when I got to work with him, Cream was my favorite band, one of my favorite bands in the 60s.
Yeah.
Cream and Cream and the Jimi Hendrix Experience were my two favorite, you know, guitar type bands. So yeah, it's been.
And then after that, you went back to Peter Gabriel for the Back to Front tour, man.
Yeah. Again, it was fun. That's another example of a project where, you know, we really, the vibe in Peter's band is fantastic. We really enjoy each other's company when we're not on the stage, you know, and we've done a lot of stuff. So got a lot of years of experience. But putting that project back together again, that's the Soul Reunion tour,
yeah.
You know, and then the joint project. It was a lot of work, you know. It was a lot of work. I was programming like crazy, just getting the instrument back to shape and getting all the sounds in place and remembering what to play and what went where. You know, it was real work. But we came through. We did it. And again, once you get through rehearsals and start the actual tour, it just gets a momentum of its own, and it just gets better and better every night. You know? Although
you rehearse, I don't know, 2-3 weeks, depending on the band and where you're playing, you still get nervous?
I don't get nervous.
No anymore.
No, I don't get nervous. I get excited. I get impatient if there's a delay. That's what drives me nuts. I don't get nervous about, you know, how many people there are in the room, whatever, stadium, nightclub, whatever. I get really impatient if someone says, oh, there's a delay, a problem with the such and such. We got 20 minutes, you know, before you can go on. That to this day kind of annoys me. It doesn't happen very often, but I don't at all get nervous about playing. I really love it.
Yeah, I think it happened more perhaps me going to show. I have seen so many. I mean, here in the area that I live in the border with Maryland and Washington, D.C., right? Since I live in Virginia. So I see close to, I don't know, 40 shows a year or so. And in America, here in the United States, the bands, American bands, for the most part, they, you know, you see the ticket to say 7:30, but the show starts at 8 or 8:50.
Rarely does it start on time. It's terrible.
In the UK, if it says 7:30, you can bet your life the show will start at 7:30, right?
Yeah.
So it's a different mentality, man.
I prefer it that way. Yeah.
You know, then there people they are all more strict in the time and when they do things. And they, if it's an opening band, they know that they need to do only 5 songs. So, you know, 5 minutes here and there, late is fine, but not half an hour. And then how was your experience with the E Street Band and Rock and Roll thing, the induction for you, man? That was, it has been an unbelievable experience.
Well, what was really special about it was I was doing double duty because on the same night, Peter Gabriel got inducted into the Hall of Fame. And
the same night?
Yes, I was in.
So you need to do with both.
Yeah. If you look at the film, there's a video of the whole thing.
It's gonna be on YouTube, video, yeah.
And I got the call, and of course, you know, Bruce said, you know, you gotta play, you know, what did we do? We did the E Street Shuffle and some Kitty's Back, something else. So I had to do the rehearsals with Bruce and the band, and then I also had to like they shuttled me between two dressing rooms because the whole thing was like kind of just, there were so many bands and stuff. So then I also had to rehearse with Peter Gabriel,
Yeah.
Tony Levin and Manu and the whole thing, and do that at the same time. So it was fun. It was fun, but it was like the whole double thing it was ironic to me to be inducted at the same night in the same year that Peter got inducted. You know, it was just it was nice. You know, we spoke about it, but yeah, it was fun. I was in two bands in the one night, so it was.
Man, I think it's very rare. I don't know if it has happened in the past.
I don't know.
Very, you know, and very unlikely though. Very. So it could happen, right? 1 year after another, you left a band, you did well, and then, but not the same night, you know, 2 hours apart.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Man, so if is it fair to say that kind of with the Bruce Springsteen, I think it was, what was 72 to 74, is that correct?
It's somewhere in there, yes. Yeah.
So for those 2 years, you end up pretty much being inducted for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. If you haven't done anything after that, if you have retired, still you know.
Still be, that's true. Yeah, that's true. But yeah,
you were 20 years old, man.
Yeah, I mean, the E Street Band is like the whole foundation of my being in the music business. It was the first professional recording that I ever did. Was readings from Asbury Park. You know, that was my first experience of being in a. Wasn't my first experience being in a recording studio. It was my first experience of being on a record that was nationally released by a record label.
Yeah. And then after that was the Steen and Peter Gabriel tour when we met in, I don't know, 2016 or whatever it was, man. Man, how was that? That was difficult to put it together, I assume, right?
It was, to put that back together. It
Yeah.
was challenging. It was a lot of hours of work, and everybody worked really hard. And again, that's all you can say at the end of the day is you just do what it takes. And I remember I was like, I would leave rehearsal. Rehearsal would stop around dinner time on 6. I would go home, go back to the hotel rather, and have dinner kind of by myself somewhere. And then I'd go back to my room, and they had arranged a keyboard in my hotel room. The identical keyboard is the one that was on the stage of rehearsal, so I could continue working on and doing programming and stuff. And I would program until, I don't know, 11 o'clock, maybe midnight at night, you know, after dinner, and until I was too tired. I'd set an alarm, get a few hours sleep, you know, wake up, get myself together, go to rehearsal. That went on for weeks, you know, a couple of weeks for that tour. But again, at the end of the day, you did what had to be done. You know?
That's what probably that has been, if I look back, and I have seen, I don't know, over 1,000 gigs, a lot more. That's what one of the best one I ever, the night I met you, that probably was the best, one of the best show I ever seen.
The joint thing with
with the two of them.
Yeah.
And plus, because I have admiration from these guys a lot, right? Sting and Peter Gabriel, and they see them the same room, trading song, and you know, everybody did a session. Then they came together. Then the other guy did their own session, and then the other musician came back. It was like a 3.5 hours, something like that.
It was really something. It was
people were going crazy seeing the two of them. You know, that was a beautiful, man.
Yeah,
that was a beautiful man. And then now let's go back to after that your new solo record, Eye Wide Open. What were your goals going into that? I know it's kind of I listened to a couple of songs last night and I saw the cover, and you know it's have a lot of political implication, that stuff.
Have you listened to the whole record yet, or just a few songs?
No, only a couple of songs, like 3 or 4 last night. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Well, but I like it. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, listen to the whole thing. I suggested on the liner notes that if you can take the time. I know that people sort of jump around these days with the internet. They don't read or the whole thing or listen. But if you can make the time to listen to the whole album, in the order that the songs are listed on.
Yeah.
You know, the first 4 songs are instrumental, and or excuse me, are vocal songs, and
Yeah.
the remaining 4 are instrumental. But it's sort of, I feel like it tells a story of what's going on, especially the first 4 songs. The story being told is the story of what you were experiencing in the news, what we're going through, politically, economically, socially. It's a full plate of stuff, you know. So what I wanted to achieve with it, the project, first of all, was just to get it done, because I've been working on it for a while in between touring with other people and stuff. And I really just felt like when 2016, when Trump won the election, it broke my heart, and it really put a fire under me to make a statement and finish whatever I was, feeling, or say what, if I had something to say, just come on, let's say it and get it out there. So I actually finished the recording in November of 2019, and it was released. I moved here in January 29th of last year now, 2020, and the record was released, I think, in March. I think sometime in March of this year. I don't know, but yeah, it's just it. I guess it's just my take on what's happening in the world today.
No, no,
And the other
now that I have your email address, I will listen to stuff tonight. I will
yeah,
email you my
great.
opinion. Well, we,
Great.
we have a new president next week, man. So you should be happy. Man.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, again, every day is going to be interesting and challenging. The thing is that we can't sort of look away from this. I sort of wake up and watch news from all over the world. One of the first things I do every day, and it's too important for us not to pay attention to right here. I would really like to not have such an unstable human being in charge of things and making decisions as Donald Trump. But even these last few days of his presidency, there's already warnings about more problems that he's attempting to stir up and cause. So we just have to keep our eyes wide open,
Yeah.
and pay attention and do the best that we can do to
Even as we speak, he's in trouble.
yeah.
Like,
Hmm.
I think very likely he's going to be impeached for the second time.
Yeah.
The next 2 hours, 3 hours.
Yeah, the only question was, will he be convicted at all? But he's definitely going to be impeached again. Uh, but yeah, I'll have to say it's good. It's good to see the corporate response to all this. It's good to see all the companies and corporations that are distancing themselves from Trump and cutting off business ties with this guy. Because and also not him. I think these politicians who played along with his lie about winning the election and there being fraud and all this. This is nonsense of the highest order, and they have to pay a price as well. So they're not only going after Trump and his stuff, but they're also going after the Republican politicians, senators who know that this is nonsense, and they're telling this lie in order to maintain power for themselves. And look at the damage they've done to the country, but they're paying the price. There's consequences for them as well.
And the whole family is a bunch of scumbags, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Not just him, man. It's terrible. It's terrible, man. The whole world now look at the United States and laugh at us.
Oh, it's changed. We've lost whatever status we had, and
That's right.
Anyone admiring us as a country, that's gone. We have 4 years of repair to do, and hopefully another 4 after that. And maybe more to really just correct all this, but it's pretty bad right now. It's the beginning of a whole other, like another civil war, and Trump knows it. This is exactly what he wanted, and he knows what he's doing, and he's
very, very, very sad, man. It's very, very sad.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm very happy that next week we have a new president. But looking back, I can't believe that all the things that has going on,
yeah,
with black people, and
Mhm.
I don't want to get into issues here, but it's so many things that went wrong, and
Quite a lot.
climate change that according to this current administration, they don't believe it exists, and so on and so forth. It's very sad, man. It's not a joke, man.
Yeah.
What kind of music do you listen to now that you're at home? You're not touring. You're drinking beer. You're drinking wine. Go to the beach every day.
I don't drink beer and I don't drink wine.
You don't really?
No, but I will drink a good margarita if you can make one. I will drink a good tequila now and then, or gin and tonic. But I don't drink beer or wine. But I'm still the same person musically that I always was in terms of a listener. I just still listen to anything and everything, and I will occasionally just go on the radio, as much as I think Hawaiian radio is not as great as it could be. Excuse me, folks. I still will just channel surf sometimes just to see what's going on, and occasionally I'll hear something that, like, whoa, I never heard that before, and it's really, really interesting. But anything, everything.
You still have like a big CD collection, vinyl collection, Blu-ray collection?
Yeah, I do. And right now it's still back in my, I have a storage unit in New York. We still haven't, we're about to get all our things from storage unit shipped over to the island here. We couldn't do it sooner because of the lockdowns there and all the whole situation and all that stuff. But that's about to happen. But yeah, I have a pretty sizable music collection still. And a lot of it is digital now. But, I have some vinyl and I have a pretty big, still my old CD collection.
I gotcha. Yeah, for me, I like things, but I like physical things. I need to touch things.
Yeah,
it's like reading a book or reading a book online. It's not the same thing.
It's not quite the same, and I do both, but I really prefer physically having a book in my hand, being able to go.
Just the fact that opening a new vinyl and open a CD and put it in and listen. Nowadays with digital, you don't like 10 seconds. Just keep. So we go in like we're like the expression. We don't smell the rose anymore. We are like that, and
it's too
with
much.
vinyl, you cannot do that. You need to listen to the whole thing. Right?
It's a side effect of the whole digital presentation of things. Like you said, if 3 seconds and boom, you're on. There's not enough of a kind of silence or pause to digest anything, because they always want to sell you. You're listening or watching something, and in the middle of that, some advertising for something you didn't ask for shows up. It's too much. It's a negative side effect of the whole digital world, and I try to not spend too much time on it, frankly. I mean, my manager and the publicist and people, they wish I would be on Facebook more and do this and do that. And I'm like, I can't, I don't want to I don't want to subject myself to the internet all day. I just don't. We're very limited. I just won't do it. Fortunately, they will do some of that stuff for me, but I'm not all for this. I mean, look at the damage that the negative side of the internet has done with all this false information. And you've got half the country believing something that is actually provably, technically a lie.
Of course.
People are standing up in public and saying something that this is a provable physical fact, that what they're saying is completely false. Yet they keep saying it, and these a whole bunch of other people, people who I don't even want to get into their intelligence level or anything, but who can be duped by that and then take action on that, This is incredible, the time and that we're in, and it's not all going to straighten out, next week, sadly. So it's really going to be a historic time, and this is really the physical fight to save democracy. Again, it's like a kind of a civil war. These people were insane, physically storming the Capitol, and they intended to do murder to some of these people. It's just crazy. So as this unfolds, and the people who did this are brought to justice and identified, again, I'm proud of the corporate structure of how they have quickly, at this latest outrage, they had plenty of opportunity to do it before. I think when they were taking babies from mother's breasts and kids in cages, could have done a bit more then. But this last outrage is so outrageous that the whole capitalist system wants to distance itself from the stink of Donald Trump. and they are finally hitting him where it really hurts him and those who support him. And I'm really glad to see that. And I'm glad to see the
Absolutely. Amen. Yeah, I'm with you, man. So, what are your plans for the near future? Are you any tour, any gigs, or
uh, plans for the near future. I'm going to continue working on the next record.
yeah?
I've already got quite a few pieces. There were more music that I could have put on Eyes Wide Open, but I wanted it to be those 8 songs specifically. But I've got other songs that are in different states of being composed that I'll get back to. And that's probably as soon as probably next week. I'll have all the physical stuff I need to put the studio back together and get back to work. So I'm looking forward to that. And just enjoying the kind of physical safety we have here. We live out in the country here. We don't live in a neighborhood in Hawaii. We live rurally. So, and we've got about 2 acres to ourselves, and kind of it's like we're in the middle of the jungle. Kind of, it's all landscaped out very nicely. So we're safe physically. We're just a few minutes from the ocean and everything. So, but we stay within our bubble. You know, the restaurants that we would be going to, sadly, have gone out of business. The 2 favorite restaurants on the island have just recently both gone out of business because of this. But we have our bubble of, like, we go to a health food store, we go out to get our mail, and we go to the beach, and that's about it.
Oh, the internet connection is good.
Internet is good here. Yeah, we have 5G, and we're good.
So where our listener can buy your music? It's possible to do
Back of have you seen the videos at all?
which videos?
We've done 3 videos for the album. Eyes
Oh, I
Wide
have
Open.
not.
Okay, I'm going to send those to you. But you can get it on. It's on Amazon.
Yeah.
It's on Apple Music. It's on Bandcamp, and it's a thing called The Orchard as well. There's about 4 sites, and I believe it's on Spotify. I want to send you the videos. I think you'll enjoy the videos at all, first of all, and I'll send them to your email link that I got through the.
Yeah, you got my email.
I'll send those to you very soon, as soon as we finish. And it's listed there where you can get all the.
I got you. Are you still in touch with Peter Gabriel, Jeff Beck, Eric Clapton? Every so often, you guys exchange email or? Yeah,
I spoke to. I didn't speak to Peter directly, but we sent him the album, and he's in process of figuring out how he's going to forward. The same with Bruce. Bruce got the music, he really dug it. I spoke to Sting a couple of days ago. We emailed each other. He was in Italy for a while, and I think he's back in England. And I sent him the videos, the link to the videos that I'm going to send you. And he loves it. And we just caught up about our physical, mental conditions, and kind of like we're saying, what are you going to do next? How are you feeling? And just wishing each other well, and stay healthy, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm in touch with those guys still.
Well, I'm happy today that I was able to talk to you. You're a very good guy. Like I knew you were a good guy.
Well, that's my pleasure. It's my pleasure, Claudio. Really.
And then
really.
we need to stay in touch. And as soon as you have the other album kind of ready or close to be ready, feel free to forward to me, and I will play in the radio. I want to do it, like I told you at the beginning, I want to do a show on you and in the music of the portion of the people that you have played with, and I will upload the interview to the site and send you a direct link if you want to share it with your social media, or send it to Trump, whatever you want to send it to Biden. Of course, I was joking. And it was very nice talking to you. Let's stay in touch, man. And I will send you. I don't want to say, but I will send you another email, and if you can put me in touch with more people.
That's great.
The radio is growing. I began. I think we did have the first 2 weeks like 30 or 40 people listen to the radio. Now I have over 1,000 all over the world listen to it.
Fantastic, man. That's great.
And then with the new thing that I want to do with the soundtracks, and I'm going to be reaching out to big time directors
Well, all
Proud
the
of you,
best,
man.
and thanks again for the attention to my music. I really appreciate it.
You're good, man. You're good, man. That was an interview with David Sancious, and thank you very much for your time. You're very generous.
That's my pleasure.
Good luck to you, man, and stay in touch,
Thank
man.
I will.
Take it easy, man. Have
Take
fun.
care.
Sure.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Stay safe, man.
You too.